I heard amazing things from you, and I'm very excited to meet you.
Yeah, same here. I'm so excited. I spoke with Angela. Angela sent me an email earlier, several weeks ago, introducing us, but I didn't realize the nature of the conversation she'd had with you until
Right.
this weekend. And then all of a sudden, she was like, well, George said that you want to have coffee with him, but you didn't mention anything about the panel. And I was like, well, I didn't know George was interested. She's like, well, that's why I sent you his contact. I was like, well, you didn't tell me that. So
I mean,
we finally caught up with each other this weekend. So I was like, well, I am going to email him today. And thank you so much for your willingness to help us out. I think this is going to be a very amazing conversation, and I'm actually interested in holding space long term for this conversation beyond USCHA. So I think in that regard, it makes sense for this part to be about Louisiana. Now that I know you can help present.
Yeah, it sounds great. I also mentioned in the email Dr. Glenn Green. It's been amazing seeing it all unfold in Louisiana, and we've been kind of going a lot to the Congress here and speaking with a lot of lawmakers and educating them about the importance of such a bill. It did pass. I'm sure that you read probably the text of the act now, but it's I would say it has challenges, definitely, which we're trying to work on, trying to remove some of these hurdles. But at least there are big advantages versus other states. So we're excited for this work, and we're meeting, I believe, this committee expert panel. We're meeting on this Wednesday for the first time to kind of discuss how we would like to present the rules to make this law something that's actually going to work in Louisiana.
Can you two things? It would be fascinating to hear about your process and be able to share that at USCHA with advocates who may not have taken that step in their states, so that they can hear what that meeting was like, what that work is like. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. I already did. Oh, sorry,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that I actually did that recently in the Georgia State Action Plan. They invited me as a speaker to kind of talk a little bit about my experience through that. So that was a fun call. And a lot of people from that Zoom call reached out to me by email to kind of ask more questions about what happened and how it happened, so that they can start, developing their process over there.
Was that call recorded? Is that something that you can share?
I will have to ask, let me think, who was it? SHLI. That is Morehouse School of Medicine. I could sure shoot them an email. I can ask them.
That would be great. And also, do you mind sharing a little bit about the context with me now, about kind of how you arrived at this place? And then I think Angela also mentioned that there is a way in which you connect advocacy to your teaching work.
Right. So, multiple answers to that question. So at Xavier, I was one of Xavier University of Louisiana. I'm not sure if you know.
Yeah.
It's an HBCU here in Louisiana, in New Orleans, and I am the faculty who teaches infectious diseases therapeutics for our third year pharmacy students, and I coordinate that course as well. And this course now includes everything that's infectious diseases related that they need to know as pharmacy students, including a big section for HIV. We've increased the time of HIV in our curriculum so that, because, we're in a hub in New Orleans, it's an HBCU, we're trying to get our students to go out and make a difference in our HIV incidence rates and all of that. So we've increased our HIV content, the time for that in our curriculum. And then after that, I introduced an elective at Xavier, which got approved 2 years ago, and that elective is called HIV in at-risk populations. That elective is an opportunity for the students who really loved the HIV part of the infectious diseases therapeutics course to be more involved. And this course is mostly talking about, everything related to HIV, but mostly what's happening down on the ground, all the advocacy work that's happening, connect amazing guest speakers with our students from this class so that they can come as guest speakers and talk about their experience, and just, it's more of a discussion format, small group kind of elective. And it's been going great. Every year it's been so there has been 2 iterations so far. It's been spring 2023 and spring 2024. Spring 2024, we did this elective to kind of match every National HIV Awareness Day. We kind of linked it to the class, and then got the students to go out and be involved in the work on the ground with, people who are doing the work. What else? And then as part of all of that we were doing, we also got a Gilead grant that was supporting some of our initiatives in the HIV field, and that grant that we got from Gilead actually gives us Anne Morehouse School of Medicine. That's how we're connected. It's kind of a partnership between us to kind of do lots of things under this grant, but focused mostly on policy work, and under that umbrella, expanding pharmacists of the authoritative prescriptive authority and to prescribe HIV PrEP and PrEP. Under this grant as well, we did an HIV task force, which we have involved lots of people from the community and in faith-based institutions and other organizations who are working in the HIV space. So now we have a task force that Xavier is leading, HIV task force, and we do a lot of events that match with whatever is happening on a national level. For example, now we're kind of focused on the Southern HIV Awareness Day, and I believe in a few days there's the National Faith HIV Awareness Day, and we have the play that I think Angela told you a little bit about, which is happening this Friday on campus. We're getting an amazing Archbishop. Her name is Dr. Keller, and she's been a huge advocate in the community. She's a woman a black woman living with HIV acquired through a sexual assault. And she has been huge in the community, always advocating for to decrease stigma and through a nonprofit that she's established called Aspirations. And she's been with me involved in policy work where she is a person living with HIV, speaking about things that are needed in the community through the task force and through other things, through other initiatives. And she was with me also on an HR 130 committee, which was kind of looking at, earlier this year, we were looking at the current HIV laws in Louisiana and how they are outdated, and we're still very we need to fix these. And there's a lot of pushback on that, but at least we were a little bit successful with supporting HB 579, which is now signed into law, which would allow pharmacists in Louisiana to kind of be involved in giving HIV PrEP and PrEP, dispensing that.
Wow.
So that's a quick, I guess, recap on what we've been doing.
That's so fantastic. Have you always been in the policy space?
Not really. I have been, so I teach at Xavier, but I'm also, my clinical site is University Medical Center. That's a hospital here. They do have an HIV clinic, but I'm mostly, because of the time between my teaching and my clinical work, I dedicate most of my time on rounding internal medicine, but I also handle HIV patients who are on the inpatient side because of other issues. So I'm mostly rounding on internal medicine, but I also visit a lot the HIV clinic over there in case they need me for anything. And one of the directors in the HOP clinic I work very closely with in other task forces that we meet in. So, yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And can you tell me a little bit about Dr. Green's role?
Yeah, so Dr. Green is a Xavier graduate. He's been practicing for a while in Priority Health. Priority Health Healthcare, they are an FQHC here, and they have been doing amazing work in the community. What they're able to do, the pharmacists over there are able to, because it's like a clinic that involves everything. If someone is coming in for PrEP or PEP or anything related to sexual health, and they are able to just complete all the tasks while they're there, because there's a nurse practitioner they could prescribe under the HIV PrEP and PEP through collaborative agreements. And the testing happens on site as well, because it's just the room across the clinic. And then there's the clinic, there's the pharmacy, there's the testing lab, all in one place. So it's convenient for the patient to just go in and do all of that. So he is the director of the pharmacy there, and he's been doing, he has a huge patient population on PrEP that they've retained in care for a while. So they've been implementing lots of strategies that are keeping the patients coming back and just in charge of their sexual health. So he has been also through the passage of the HB 579 in Louisiana, he's been meeting with also officials, with lawmakers, with House of people from the Health and Welfare Committee, explaining to them why this law is important for pharmacists to be able to make a change in the community. So we're currently, we met over, he met with many people throughout this year and a half to kind of explain the benefits of such a thing. And he's been meeting also, he speaks with his patients on a daily basis. So he's very close to his patients. So he really knows exactly what they are in need of. And he's been a big champion and making sure that we remove all kinds of hurdles as pharmacists on this expert panel that we're on together. He's with me on that panel. There's me, there's him, and then there's a third pharmacist who is a faculty at the other College of Pharmacy in Louisiana called ULM. But that's in Monroe. So it's kind of far from us a little bit. But their insight is very important as well, because they're kind of in a rural place. So they're able to help us reach more of the rural areas and have a plan on how we are going to get those patients in rural areas who need it involved in all of that.
Yeah, I get really excited about the part of the conversation where you're dealing with rural people in rural communities.
Of course.
Because it's very different than the urban outreach.
Absolutely.
I love that. So let me ask you, what do you think might be the best way? I'd love to, we're in the process now of collecting all of our talking points, and some people want to have slides. What do you think is a good amount of time for you to be able to describe this on the panel, either you by yourself or you with Dr. Green? How much time would you like to have on the front end to just present what you've presented with me? We've been talking for almost 15 minutes at this point. Do you think 20 minutes is adequate on the front end to present all of what you said at USCHA? Is 20 minutes a good target?
Yeah, I believe 20 minutes maximum. But it depends on exactly what I also need to cover. I saw your talking points, the structure that you sent me. That looked amazing. Is that what is needed for that? Or,
yeah. So
or
I after talking to Angela about you, I designed that format just on my own before, but I had a meeting with 1:00 with the other presenters, and they loved it. And I told them about you, and their sentiment was, however much time you guys need, we'll work the rest of it around you. So now that I know that your number is 20, then I'll adjust the other numbers because I don't want to belabor any aspect of this conversation. I really want to get to the question and answer. And hopefully, most of those questions are going to be directed toward you and your colleague, Dr. Green, to talk about how these amazing things happen, just like in that last conversation, which is why I asked if you could share that link. I've worked with Satcher Health, and I've been in several task force meetings, so I'm very familiar with that. They know me really well. I've been busy recently, so I haven't been at the meetings. But actually, I probably recognize your name from those meetings also. Yeah. So I spoke on our joint panel. I think it was maybe February of this year. Yeah, it's a long time. Yeah. So I'm the same guy. So I'm really excited about this. And so I would love to be able, I took notes on everything that you shared. What I'm going to do is incorporate them into the outline and change some of the numbers around, giving you guys 20 minutes. And I'll send you an email. And if you could, I'm going to send it to Dr. Green. If you could follow up with him also, so that if he's interested in also speaking, then you guys can share that space. If your other colleague at ULM wants to come, he's also welcome. Just let me know so that we can introduce him. And at some point after this week, I'd love to get everyone's pictures and bios so that we can promote it properly.
Sounds perfect.
But that sounds really good. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, really. I'm excited to meet you in person, and I'll follow up with Dr. Green, see if he's able to. I know that he's attending the conference. I saw him the other day, chatted a little bit about all of this, and he expressed that he would be interested. He's also AAHIVP.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, so he's very, he's like, yeah, whatever you guys need me to do, I'm happy to help.
Thank you Thank you so much. I will send a follow-up email to you and Dr. Green, but if you could follow up with Dr. Green personally, that would be great. And we'll be talking in the next couple of days.
Sounds perfect. Thank you, Chauncey.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
You too. Bye-bye.